Hello my beautiful hammerheads and welcome to this Black Library review. This time it's Children of Teclis, written by Dicken. Okay, this book is great. I almost finished it in one day. I would have finished it at Saturday, at release day, but stuff happened and yeah, well, I wasn't able to, but I really wanted to because it's so good. This is right after the Broken Realms series, so Nagash has been cast down, Arkan fell, or rather was thrown from the perimeter inimical by Eltharion, and so the Ossiarchs are broken, the Nighthaunts are well, they're just scattered around. The Soulblight are doing their stuff because Neferata, Manfred, and so on. And the Flesh Eater Courts are just being Flesh Eater Courts. We will see what they're doing in the Dawnbringer Crusades right now. But yeah, so Teclis has ordered some of his Lumineth children to protect the tomb of Nagash so that no one is able to resurrect him, because that's Nagash's thing, to be resurrected every time he's been cast down. Because as the god of death, you're not really able to die. Yeah. And okay, we are following our main character, who is amazing. I really love her. She is a law seeker. Her name is Alarin the Illuminated. And she has a Vanari Blade Lord as a bodyguard. Only one, not five like in the box, or rather the unit you can play. And the dynamic between those two is so lovable. At first, I thought, oh, that Blade Lord lady, she's rather aloof, she's not really caring about the problems Alarin has. And there are moments, it was so good when Alarin just turns to her and said, "Why didn't you say something? You weren't in any danger." A few moments after that, her bodyguard just does something and Alarin is just like, "Now you do stuff?" So the dynamic between those two was really great. It was lovable, and the more time we spent with them, the more I cared about those two. And the special thing about Alarin is, as a law seeker, she dabbles with necromancy, which is rather wild for Lumineth, because, yeah, well, Lumineth are not really known to be necromancers, and she's not really a necromancer. She studies necromancy, so she can understand what is happening there, because, well, Nagash is the source, or Shaiish. Oh, okay, let me phrase it this way. All is one in Nagash, and Nagash is all, is perfectly fitting for the realm of Shaiish and Nagash. So she tries to learn all about this. And this is so good because you see the world of the Lumineth in a different light, pun intended, and how others react to her. And this is probably, maybe I missed it, or I just forgot, that she has only one Blade Lady as a bodyguard and not five of them. But people tend to stay away a little bit from her. And only the Lord Regent has some leniency with her. But, okay, before I dive more into her character, the beginning of the story is Nagash enters Hysh. The realm of Hysh is being invaded by the Ossiarchs, by Nagash, by Arkan. Everything is crumbling down. The Lumineth are being struck right at the heart of their own realm. So if you know the Broken Realm storyline, this is the first chapter. And there we have a character which we pretty early on learned that this was the teacher of Alarin. And that guy is awesome, by the way. This whole book made me just want to paint more Lumineth. Yes. And Ossiarchs and Idoneth, because if you look at the cover, which I did not, and I did not read the synopsis, I just read Children of Teclis. Or maybe I read it and I forgot. The last few weeks were just exhausting. But yeah. Okay, then she has an heirloom, which was the sword of her teacher, which is also kind of sweet because she makes remarks that the blade was crafted for someone else. It really does not fit her hands, but she will not change it, or rather have another sword made for her, even though as a law seeker she has that privilege. But yeah, and we get to learn more about why she has so much leniency with the Lord Regent, because their camp is in Shaiish. They're guarding Nagash's tomb. And so they're really defending this little area. There are no Ossiarchs, no Soulblight, and so on in the area around them. The Cenari Calligraph paints all those runes on the ground to protect, well, this space. And everything seems fine up until Alarin and her bodyguards just venture out. Oh, here is a little, what was it, a cave or something like that? I forgot. But this is a little bit of Indiana Jones 1 vibes. When she finds something, she touches it, but instead of a big giant boulder coming crashing down on her, it's a vision of the future, and she sees legions of Ossiarchs just coming right at them. And, well, she goes back, tells everyone, okay, guys, I saw something. I wasn't able to bring the relic with me. I wasn't able to destroy it. We had to go out fast. Apparently, she always has this tendency of not destroying dangerous things, but wants to study them, which is kind of admirable. I like that really much about her. And so she gets a little task force of venturing out to an old Ossiarch fortress called the Marrow Scar. And on their way, well, they're being attacked by the Idoneth. And no one was really prepared for those, because everyone thought Ossiarchs are there. And after a little scramble, of course, they're fighting, stuff happens, and so on. The repercussions of this hit Alarin hard. And she has to do stuff which is not really Lumineth-like. So she really disregards her orders. She gathers around some of the people who trust her and believe her, and they venture out in a small strike squad, basically. On their way, they're being captured by the Idoneth, and here we get to meet a Soul Scryer, a Soul Render, a Thrall Master, and I believe that was it. No, it was 4 characters. A Tidecaster, haha, yes, all the Isharans. Oh no, the Thrall Master is an Achillean. But yeah, so here the Soul Scryer is trying, he's also dabbling in necromancy. Great. So we have two sorcerers who are doing stuff they're not supposed to in the same area of expertise. And the discussions between those is fantastic. How the Idoneth are blaming Teclis, how the Lumineth are trying to right that wrong of Teclis. Those two opposing forces trying to cooperate in finding a cure for the Namati. This is brilliant. This was such a good moment. And all the writing between the Lumineth and the Idoneth is great. It's fantastic. I enjoyed every conversation between those. Especially that you get hints that, of course, and it was really, really good and tasteful, that the Soul Scryer and, of course, Alarin are bonding a little bit because they're a little rebellious. Great storyline. But at the other hand, you have the Tidecaster, Thrallmaster, and Soulrender, who are really wary of the Lumineth, who are really at the thought process of the Lumineth are here to destroy us. They are here to kill us and do terrible things, and are accusing them again and again and again. Oh, brilliant. And how Alarin has to defend her thoughts and her actions. Great. And how both parties learn about each other. That the Idoneth have correleum, the corals which keep the souls of the Idoneth basically there, so they can summon an Eidolon of the Storm, or the Eidolon of Mathlan of Eidolon, yeah, that. So there are so many great things in here. One of the things I also really enjoyed was that right at the beginning we have Alarin and how she was taught to defend her thought process and her logics against a group of other people. And she gets this time again and again and again. I understand this. It was really good because this is something I struggle with myself. Because at my job I know that I'm right, but I have to defend it against people who don't know anything about it and are questioning it. It's so exhausting. And I felt for her because this was exhausting as well. Maybe I'm a burnt child here, but at a certain point it was a little bit too much. But I enjoyed it. That the main conflicts in here are of a more not spiritual but intellectual level, and not only we have to fight, we have to defend against the Ossiarchs, we have to defend against the Idoneth and so on, and the skill of blades is not as important as the skill of words. So this was a double-edged sword for me, but more in the tendency of I like it. But of course, at a certain point, the nurgling has to hit the fan, stuff goes wrong, the two parties have to, well, go different routes, and all of the things Alarin endures on her journey and what becomes of her at the end is so good. And as I've said, with the more intellectual level of fighting, at the end when she realizes I have to stand up for myself, I don't have to give in to other people's paranoia and stuff. Oh, so good. But of course, as I've said, there are flaws. Every book has flaws. I know that. And I don't want to paint this book as the perfect Lumineth book or the perfect Lumineth Idoneth book. Evan Dicken wrote a fantastic story here. At some points a little bit tedious, sadly. And the other thing, which is kinda a spoiler, so I will say this after my outro. So if you really want to know and it will not bother you to know, it's not a great spoiler, but I don't want to throw this in the middle of the review. My ultimate rating of this book is a solid 8 out of 9. 8 out of 9? A solid 8 out of 10 burnt ether quartz stones. It's really good. I enjoyed it. Oh, and before I forget it, also characters like the High Warden and High Sentinel. This is something which is also present in the other Lumineth novels, that there is only one of those, and not like in our tabletop game, you have 2 units of wardens, you have 2 high wardens and stuff. No, the High Warden and the High Sentinel have a place in the council. So they are really there when, well, everyone is making their plans on what to do, just like a Steed Master for the Dawn Riders. I like this. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Children of Teclis by Evan Dicken? Please leave your thoughts and questions in the comment section down below. I am keen to know what you have to say. And while you're down there, do all the YouTube stuff, because hitting buttons is fun. If you want to support the channel and you don't know what to say, just write Lumineth in the comments. Have a great day, my friend. Stay fantastic. Stay hydrated. And I will see you in the next video. Bye! Spoilers coming! I almost forgot to tell you. All the while, again, it's a small spoiler. There is no Nagash in this story. Where is my boner boy daddy Nagash? I was really hoping to see him here. But yeah,